I'm Isaac. Today we are going to read We Were the Parade, written by Perry Crompton, pictures by Tina Perko. Does the main character look familiar? He should. His likeness is taken after me. The back says, when life pinches, we have to find our way. Through it, it's sometimes difficult for us to a magical place where we rise above the pinch and become the parade. Now We Were the Parade, read by the author.
We Were the Parade. Summary. It is difficult being accepted when you are the new person in a new place. Sometimes peace must first be found in our own hearts and minds, and sometimes what is in our hearts and minds and what is real is in the eye of the beholder. Subjects: acceptance, personal peace, friendship. Mean things I heard when I was new. Go back to where you came, they said, and I was not invited in to be a friend of theirs. It made me sad, and I walked alone to where the trees did start in the corner of the school. With my head down I walked within and kicked the pine cones on the grass. Hands searching my pockets, I said out loud, "Let me find something magic to cure my ills." But only string and a button is what I found. Then butterflies like I had never seen came and landed on my arm, their wings looking just like rainbows. They flew away up in the trees, and when I looked up, they were gone. In their place I saw paper streamers, 2 inches wide and 10 feet long, each one a different color of the rainbow, maybe blown in from a nearby party or carnival or parade. They were caught in the pine tree's limbs and blowing in the wind. I continued walking through the trees, and the streamers increased until all around, like a tunnel to guide my walk within. And as I held my arms out wide and touched their colored flight, a smile on my face did form. I breathed in deep and my spirit soared. Then looking at pine needles on the ground and the string and button in my hand, a great idea came in my head. The idea was grand, and I worked with my hands, and while I worked I pictured my plan inside my mind. And the more I thought, the more it grew, becoming a great and wonderful plot. With my mind now pleased, like in a dream, I walked on through the tunnel, and bushy limbs appeared where the streamers had been. The grass became sand and pine cones rocks, until finally I walked out. Then I noticed the pines had become tall acacia trees, and around me was savanna brush, and the climate was drier than before. And I heard a sorrowful, airy honking sound. I came around a final bush, and there before me was an elephant. Twice as tall as me, but still quite young he was. And nearby, elephants meanly looked at him and trumpeted in harsh and disapproving ways. He didn't flinch when I came to him. He was too sad to care, I think. And I hugged his trunk and softly talked to him and told him that I understood. I named him Gusto, and with his trunk he hugged me too. And instantly we were the greatest friends. Then he lifted me onto his back, and we walked away from them to where a village was. As we walked down the road in the middle of town, people saw me riding him, with his trunk holding me, and never before had they seen love like that from an elephant. And they said, "Wait!" and ran in their homes and brought back colorful streamers just like were in the trees and decorated us with them. Then around Gusto's neck they placed a hubcap like a giant button held by rope, and on his head a bicycle rim with upraised spokes like pine needles as a crown. Then as we passed they cheered and clapped, the first parade they had ever seen, I think. And our spirits soared as I did wave, and Gusto trumpeted his mighty horn. Then back to his herd we walked among, and they were so amazed. Never before was there an elephant so regal and so great. Now Gusto was like their king, and in great honor some knelt before, and others trumpeted him, as we walked between and then away. Back to the savanna brush, and under and around, and through the tunnels of their limbs. Then where pine trees grew and playground grass, and we could see the students play. As we approached, all decorated in that magical color, and me atop this mighty beast, the children's mouths hung wide in awe, and eyes were big with wonder. No one clapped and no one cheered, for they were all amazed, and all they could do was mouth, "Oh my," or slowly raise their hand in honor. We paraded all through the school, by every class and every student and teacher, me sitting tall looking down at them, and I instructed Gusto to herald them, and he did with trumpeting thunder. Then in their eyes I saw their wish that they were me, and now it was me that was like a king. We left them then back to the trees, and I removed my colored pageantry and left it on the grass. Then when I returned, no one told me go away, and I was welcomed in their games and all their recess play. Once sometime later, I saw a new girl that looked sad, and she told me the mean things that they had said, and I said, "Don't mind them, follow me." But as we walked between and underneath, we saw no butterflies. The pine trees never changed, and Gusto never came. The only things we found were the streamers of paper caught on the limbs, a button necklace made with string, and pine needles woven into a crown, and I smiled when I remembered them. Then I said, "I will be your elephant today." So we wove another crown, and from my pocket I took more string, and we made another necklace and added pine cones hanging down. Then we exited those trees, all decorated with color, wings blown by the wind. And as we ran, with the streamers flying behind us, the teachers clapped and the children cheered, and our spirits soared. And with our minds now pleased, like in a dream, then we did too. Smiling in peace, with the wind of happiness against our faces, our wings of streamers lifted us, taking us away to the land of bliss. Many times since, in moments of need, I've walked alone among the trees to the colorful tunnel that is within, where I touch the streamers and peace begins. Then to the place where the streamers turn from paper to limbs, and I finally emerge, where pines are now acacia trees, and there is Gusto waiting for me, still adorned in pageantry, still the king he always was, and I hug his trunk and feel his love. And again, we are the parade. We all have an elephant. Find yours. For other children's books by Perry Crompton, see them all at Amazon.com, including the 7-book series Chisel Hedgehog, Crazy Great Summer. Chisel Hedgehog was about to find himself on a perilous adventure, which would teach him many lifelong lessons, but also push him into danger's open grasp. It was earlier that morning when he made the awful mistake for which he was now hunted, but which also started him and his best friend Boodle on their own hunt for answers to a 100-year-old mystery. Read Book 1 and see the pictures at chiselhedgehog.com.